And 5, 4, 3.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Coach Rivals 2024 season and the very first episode of Rift Happens. I am totally blessed to have this opportunity to be one of the faces on the screen here. My name is Justin, and I am joined by another familiar face right below me here. That is Ronnie. Ronnie, how you doing?
Oh, yeah, Justin, I get the first shout out. I wasn't prepared. Hey, I'm excited. I'm ready to talk some League of Legends with, three of my favorite League of Legends celebrities, I guess, right? Yeah. I say celebrities.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, we'll take that. We'll take that. And next up, we are joined by the commish himself. Over to my right, your left over here. It is the world's best Victor mid player, Drake Prime.
Yep, that's me. It's so good it never got to play it again. And not because it was banned, just because he wouldn't let it happen. No, thanks
Awesome.
for...
And our fourth... Oh, yeah, you're what? Look, man, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to bring the memories. And right below Drake, you are going to recognize another familiar face, the Teemo Enjoyer himself. It's Coop.
Yes, what's up, everybody? Excited to be here with these three. This is going to be fun, kicking off Season 5, maybe? 2024, that's all that matters. Summer 2024, so this will be fun. Thanks for bringing this back, Justin. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. So I'm excited, and I'm sure I'm not just sure about it. I'm positive that we have a lot of new coaches this season that are going to be participating in Coach Rivals. And Rift Happens looks a little bit different this year, where it's no longer just a straight podcast. We're kind of functioning as a pre-show. And because we have not only some new faces and we have a new look for Rift Happens, I figured it would be a great idea for us to kind of set the stage and set the pace for what Coach Rivals is. So, Coop, if you just kind of educate our audience, what is Coach Rivals?
That's a great question. So Coach Rivals has been around for about 5 years now or so, long enough that we can't count, which is great. It started off with about 20 people and a kind of like a goal to learn League of Legends in a different way than just watching PowerPoints and slideshows and stuff like that, and YouTube videos on how to get good. And it was the concept was, what better way to learn to coach as a Scholastic esports coach than to actually play the game. And so Coach Rivals started as just that. It was a way to get coaches together, new and old. I think that's one of the best parts about Coach Rivals, is that we have brand new coaches in the same space as really experienced coaches. And I know that when I was playing, and I guess we called it Season 0 at the very beginning, we went live, we were streaming, and for me, that was like a crazy experience as a new coach. I was bad at League of Legends, but the thing I learned the most was what it was like to actually go live as a competitor, and taking that away and bringing it to the next season with my students. I was like, I had no idea what y'all were going through on game day, and that, and Justin being my first coach in Coach Rivals, trying to teach me how to jungle. I appreciate that. Thanks so much. But yeah, I mean, just Coach Rivals is all about getting coaches together to learn how to play these games, and mix them up, and not based purely on competitive prowess, but on a way to learn up and down the ladder.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's a great description. I feel like that's pretty accurate. And so that's a great segue into what we want to chat about next, is that, yes, our season actually starts right after this episode of Rift Happens. We're going to see some action on stream on the Rift between two teams. And since we're starting that competitive season, the season does look a little bit different than previous seasons. So we're actually going to toss this over to the commish himself. Drake, what are some of the highlights of how things are going to look a little bit differently this year?
Yeah, so we took the feedback from last year. Last year was a great season. We had 8 teams compete. Very good. We did mixed ranks across, so people from Iron all the way up to Grandmaster playing with each other. And I know we had a great time, but there's also feedback saying, hey, some games were great. Some games I just got whooped for 45 minutes, and it wasn't a blast. So our first big change that we did was revert back. We did 2 seasons ago and have 2 different divisions. The way the divisions kind of break down is it's basically iron to silver and then gold plus as our two division breakdowns. There's a little bleed in there somewhere, but again, trying to make the best environment, like Coop kind of reiterated down below. Try to make sure it's not just about the competitive prowess so much as make sure everybody has a good time and we're actually learning the game. That's our big that's probably our biggest change from last year. Aside from that, we also went back to instead of doing a draft from the captains, we decided to do me and Coop sat down and broke the teams apart by rank, try to make it as even as possible. That way, we did by reviewing the op.ggs, going into the games. Also, if we didn't sure, we asked people about other players kind of where they felt they sat. So we had a lot of feedback in there. It wasn't just two guys throwing a dartboard hoping to hit a hit right. But while we're here, also give a huge shout out. She's not on here, but my fellow co-commissioner helped me get everything going this season. Huge shout out to Allison or Cartera. Could have done it without her this year or last year. So humongous shout out. She's amazing. Her team's lucky to have her on there. She's awesome. But I'd be remiss if I didn't get a chance to shout her out here.
Yeah, I would just add super helpful on the organizing and the prep and all that stuff. Allison's been, the spreadsheet, just the ability to manipulate those spreadsheets alone is incredible. A lot of spreadsheets. That's awesome.
It really does take an entire team. There's a lot of work going on in the background, and of course, the players. We're all grateful for the work that y'all put in because it takes a burden off the rest of us. But there's a burden resting on those people that are putting in all the time, and it's not just on game night. It's the time throughout the week to get everything prepped and ready. And we're going to have probably some B streams going on too. Ronnie, I'm sure you'll take up that mantle at some point, but we're going to have a lot of fun this season. I'm excited about the changes. I think it's going to be great. I'm looking for, the feedback that we're going to have at the end of this season, because we just spend every single year making Coach Rivals better and better and better. And that's awesome. So, the moment that really everybody was waiting for, but you may not have known you were waiting for, is the reveal of the team names, their logos, and the rosters. So we're actually going to toss this over to Ronnie because of the four of us, I think Ronnie has he has the best ability at pronouncing random names. And so I'm really excited to see how he's going to tackle this.
Hey, thanks, Justin. Yeah, no, honestly, I am probably looking at the spreadsheet for the second time. So we're going to see how this goes.
That is Coach Rivals in a nutshell.
Yeah. Fingers crossed I get them all right. I had maybe a few minutes of practice and I'm excited. But no, the most important thing is just shouting these guys out. We've got, what is this, 50?
Where are we starting? Are we starting with just
50 coaches?
Oh, yeah. What actually... Drake, what's putting you on the spot? What's our count?
Yeah. Well, we have 50. Yeah, we had 10 teams sign up at 5 apiece, so we have 50, and that's up 2. So every season before this, we've averaged 8 total teams across divisions. So we've actually added, what's that number roughly, like 12.5% growth or something like that. So good, great growth on our part. So
and some subs. I think there's some subs in the pocket too.
Yeah. They took 2 teams away. We added 2 teams. So, we're expanding. Anyway, like we were saying earlier, we do have a little bit of a breakdown this year with different tiers. And so our champions tier is where all of our iron to silver players live. And we do actually require everyone to play ranked games. So everyone's, ranked accurately, right? There is kind of a minimum requirement on that. So all these guys have played their placement games and been filtered out into these different teams, and we're just really hype about bringing all these team logos to you if you haven't seen them yet. So first up, we got Shake That Ash. That's going to be really fun to say on stream. Really looking forward to that one. Thank you guys for forcing me to say that, 20, 30 times a week. On Shake That Ash, we have C. Taylor 777 in the top lane. We've got Saikazi in the jungle, Coyote in the mid. It's probably more pronounced Coyote. I'm sure he probably doesn't put the emphasis on it so much, but it is spelled with a K, so I'm being cautious. And then Blue Sai is ADC, and Loki Doki's the support there. So some returning faces, some new faces on that roster. Next up, we have
Yeah.
the Farm.
Hey,
And the
I'm
Furious.
gonna chime in. I'm gonna chime in real
Go
quick.
ahead. Go ahead. Yes, please.
I know Blue Sign Loki Doki. This is a blast from the past from the Valhalla back team from like 2 seasons ago. They were duoed together on that team, so this is a reunion of that bot lane duo from 2 seasons ago that made it all the way to the finals. I think
mean,
they lost
Yeah,
to
I
your
was just
team,
gonna
Ronnie,
say.
but
Yeah, they were in second place. I remember that. Yeah.
And just to add on to
They
that, I
only
mean, we have a lot of
beat Red,
return people
sorry.
too.
Yep.
So
Oh,
like,
yeah.
so it's pretty cool that some of these. I mean, we got some OGs on these rosters.
I like these shout outs, guys. This is good. All right. Next up, we've got the Farm and the Furious. Probably one of the better team names. I was casting their practice game the other day, and I kept calling them the Fast and the Furious. So that's going to be a challenge. Just for whatever reason, my brain goes to that better known title. In the top lane, we've got Death Weaver 501. Jungle, we've got one of my favorite new usernames, right? I'm going to have fun saying this one a lot. Chupapi Mumu. So that's a fun one. Yeah. I feel like it never comes out, quickly. It's always one of those ones where I have to double check as it comes out. Mid lane, we've got Slipstream, big time returning face there. He's also helping us behind the scenes too. So shout out to Slipstream, especially with those B streams. In the bottom lane, we got the Disrespector. That's a newer face, if I'm not mistaken. And as support, we've got Sauron the Seer filling out that roster. So definitely some, like I said, a good mix, new and returning faces.
what's the over under on Chupapi Mumu actually being able to play a Mumu this season?
So, okay,
Yeah.
I casted
Instant
his practice
ban.
game the other day. He won't get a chance to play it probably because it's very obvious that he is a Mumu one trick because he was kicking butt with that Mumu in that practice game, man. I don't think anybody's going to let him have it again. It was nice.
That's the risk you take of naming yourself after a champion.
Right.
Yeah, a little easier to read, man, for sure. Okay, next up we've got Hearts of Diamonds, Brains of Bronze. Great team name, especially these guys. You can tell these guys aren't taking themselves too seriously, right? Like, yeah, we get it, we're bronze, but I like the team name a little bit. So in the top lane we got Bob the Tank, returning player, but he's been out for a couple of years, so glad to see him back. In the jungle we got Ancient Relic. I believe that's a newer coach Rivals. In mid lane, we got Big Bad Hand. If you've been a Coach Rivals player for any amount of time, you know him for sure. In the bot lane, we got Merlin, my previous championship compatriot. And in the support role, we've got Mather Blaster.
My
Glad to see
favorite
him.
name.
Yeah, Mather Blaster is just great, man.
Every caster loves and hates that name.
It's
the
it's one of
best.
those like 1-2 punch ones. Yeah, you kind of have to like take a breath before you say it. I like it. Okay, fourth team up in the champs tier, we've got Avoid Ed, right? Which is I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but I think that's a wordplay, kind of like a pun.
A little bit.
Not sure. Yeah. Okay. All right. In the top lane, we've got Coach Magros, right? He's definitely a name I'm familiar with. In the jungle, another one of my my season 4 buddies, Zucchini. He's also a former student of mine. Glad to see him back on the Rift. Yeah, Zucchini. He played
That's
mid lane
awesome.
for my high school team. Yeah, so excited he's back. He's back in the mix. In the mid lane, we got Lexi. I know Lexi from season 3. They subbed in for me at one point. I had COVID, and they had to sub in. That was a wild week. In the bot lane, we got PCS Device. Not familiar with PCS Device, but I did cast your practice game the other day, and definitely going to be one to watch. And in the support role, we got Lirazel. Big shout out to Aaron. I know Aaron. And I always mess up your username, so hopefully I got it right. And then final team in this tier is going to be probably my favorite team name because I happen to love Kled. It's Red Kled Redemption. Fantastic.
Awesome name.
So good.
Yeah, it's in the logo too, man. It's just so good. Top lane, we got Black Beetle 13, another former championship player, teammate of mine. We got the Saint of MN. I'm going to guess that's Minnesota. Yeah, right? Saint of Minnesota. Mid lane, we got Jubbin, who is, I believe, Jubilus back from season 2, season 3, season 4. Yeah, so Jubilus is back in the mix, changed his username, but we're glad to have him back. In the bot lane, we got Dr. Strangeglove, who is formerly known as Coach Gross. And he's got another username too. Yeah, so I'm forgetting it right now. But yeah, he's
Old Man Liver.
Old Man Liver. Yes.
That's amazing.
Such a good name. Thank you for shouting that out. Yeah, because that's fantastic. And then rounding out that roster, we have Cartera. That is the behind the scenes person, Allison. We shouted out earlier. So she's doing double duty this year. She's playing and she's behind the scenes and she's doing some other work and she's involved in everything. We love Allison.
All right, you guys, you want to head straight to Legends, or we want to talk a little bit about Champs, or we want to wrap it all up? What's the thought there, Ronnie? The teams are yours. You tell me, what's the plan?
Well, I'll say one other thing about Red Clad Redemption. If you aren't aware, Black Beetle and Cartera are married. I believe that's the only married couple competing in Coach Rivals. Correct me if I'm wrong. But they're on the same team. That could be a huge asset, could be a huge detriment. You never know, right? You never know.
That was actually an honored request, because they were like, when we weren't on the same team, it was actually kind of really difficult because we would play each other and it was like, hey, we're not doing it. Like, don't put us on the same team because it's going to be really complicated on game day.
Yeah, you keep it secret.
Oh,
put
yeah.
us on the same
the
day.
comms are just crazy.
Yeah, they're like, please put us, make sure we're on the same team, because otherwise we're gonna play in the same room. So like, it's gonna be really difficult to keep that in check. So so there you go. So yeah, that's the Champs. Solid logos.
Oh yeah,
they're just so good. So good.
Yeah, I also like the we have like the tiny logos for the stream too. I like, people got really creative with those too. I love that. Yeah.
Good use of creativity mixed with I think a little bit of AI, which went a long way. Some really solid homebrews, and then I think some great inspirations, and then the names are just like chef's kiss. All these are so good.
Let's hit those Legends, man. And we're for the sake of time.
Yeah,
we're gonna kind of speed this up a little bit.
Yeah, I like to talk a lot, guys. So buckle up.
Legends are in.
All right, let's just see here. You see the logos on your screen now. We're gonna just start it off, right? Kick it off. Looks like we got Gankenstein's Monsters up first. In the top lane, we got Caress. Right, 2 R's, 2 S's. I'm totally throwing that out there. That's a complete guess. Please be gentle if that was wrong. In the jungle, we have Eric29, very famous player for Coach Rivals, another former teammate of mine. Mid lane, we got Ashley Nicole. She was in the league last year, also in mid, so good to see her back. Bot lane, we got Lucas 2142. Is that?
That does not.
I think that's an English teacher. Is that an English teacher?
Yeah, I was going to say that. I'm pretty sure that's not. Oh. Yeah, that's English teacher. Yeah, 100%.
Oh, coming out with sleeper name.
Back.
Ooh.
Yeah, English teacher. Trying to throw everybody off the trail. And in the support role, we've got another newcomer. This is HS Esports Coach Smith. No, that's not a newcomer, is it? No, that's up though. She's also trying to sneak in. 100%, bro. These are a couple of people who changed their
trying to throw
usernames.
off the scouting reports.
Man, see, you're making my job harder too. Okay, next up we have probably one of the best team names. If you guys are new to Coach Rivals, when teams get loaded in, they all get like placeholder team names. This year they all got colors. This team decided they're going to keep their color and turn it up to 11. So the team name is the Green Team. Love it. Yeah.
Clever.
In the top, yeah, I know, right? Like, what else can you say? In the top lane, we have Pathfinder, another former student of mine. Glad to see Pathfinder back in the mix. notorious for getting those solo kills up in the top lane. In the jungle, we've got Mr. Hernandez Teaches, fellow Texas coach. I'm no longer a Texas coach, but former Texas anyway. Mid lane, we got Coach Keru. I'm not familiar with Coach Keru, so welcome if you're new. And if you're not, I apologize. In the bot lane, we got Frack7789. Is it Fracker? Maybe.
Frack?
That sounds
Maybe,
like
I think
It's Fracker. Fracker. I think it's Fracker. Yeah.
yeah, that sounds like a cuss word, guys. I'm gonna have a hard time with that one. All right. And then last up for support, we got familiar face Ched in the mix. Love seeing Ched on the Rift. See if he busts out that Pike again this year.
And permaband.
You know, right? It's going to see the light of day. He played a different role last year, so who knows, right? I might have just exposed him. Next up, we've got Grub a Dub Dub. Love this team name. Playing on the new top lane mechanic, the Grubs. Looks like in the top lane we got Coach Dubs. In the jungle we got Chicas. Both names I'm familiar with. Mid lane Xander Allen. That's got to be Key Kitty Key if I'm not mistaken. And love seeing Xander back on the Rift. We've casted a few games together too. Love that guy. ADC, we got a newbie, Mr. Player 2. He's been really active in the Coach Rivals Discord. Love to see him involved in the tournament. And for the support role, they got Coach Gliz, who I believe is another new player. So welcome to those 5. Next up, we got, oh man, 1 buff, 2 buff, red buff, blue buff. I'm going to find a way to shorten that on stream where it just comes out like buff or something like that. You know, it's going to come out really quick. I don't know, but I am familiar with a couple of these guys, so shout out on the good team name. But yeah, you guys are making this difficult for me. Top lane, we got East Phantom 22. Jungle, we got Svi. Love seeing Svi back. He's been on Hotline League a couple times, and he's gracing us with his presence again. Thank you, Svi. In the mid lane, we got Bullet Games, a mainstay of Coach Rivals. Bullet Games been around for a minute. ADC, we got D Coulter, WCHS. Not familiar with D Coulter, but excited to have you. And then in the support role, we have Definitely Not Tommy. Love that username. I wonder what his real name is.
It's not Tommy.
Right? It makes you wonder, yeah. Why is he so concerned about you not knowing? Yeah, he's not Tommy. All right, and last up for the Legends rosters, we've got the Face Checkers. Great team name. Yeah, and you see there, that's the one with the Teemo. No words, no problem. Their team name is Face Checkers, so that's what that is. The top lane for that is Action Saxon, another returning face. In the jungle role, Bebo Bay returning to his comfort role. Bebo Bay, another former student of mine. He was on our championship roster when we won the Texas State Championship. So he's a really good player. He played top lane last year, back in the jungle role this year. Can't wait to see him. Mid lane, we got Code Worm. ADC, I'm not familiar with this guy.
I think this is a new player.
Yeah, I might be pronouncing that wrong. Not familiar.
Sounds like a scrub.
Do some background checks.
Yeah. Some scrub, man. I don't know how they let this bronze player into this tier. I'm kidding, obviously.
Brutal.
Justice the man. And then this dude, I'm just kidding. The support player for this team is Coach Faust. I believe Coach Faust had another username before. It seems familiar to me.
I think we got a lot of alts.
It's the Eras tour.
The Eras tour.
The Taylor Swift summoner name.
I see. Okay, and that.
Look, I have an idea.
All 5 of them. Yeah, go ahead.
I have an idea for your 1 buff, 2 buff, red buff, blue buff. If it's like buff to the 4th power, and any like math teachers that are listening can correct me here, but isn't like something to the 4th like a quartic? Oh. So you could say buff quartic, like buff to the 4th. I don't know.
Dang, you just pulled out Quartic? That's crazy.
I actually Googled it.
There you go.
Okay.
Nice.
Yes.
And he admits it. What a gentleman.
I was about to bully you a little bit, I think. I don't know.
I know, right? Nerd.
I had to be honest. So, but yeah, those are all of our teams along with the rosters. So, Ronnie, I appreciate you giving us the rundown and introducing all the players. And you did a fantastic job with the pronunciation. I must say, I really don't think either of the three of us would have done any better. So, to wrap up Rift Happens, as we get fully geared up for the matches that are going to be streaming tonight, we're going to take it over and let Drake hit us with some viewer questions, because earlier this week, if you were paying attention to the Coach Rivals Discord, you would have seen a Google form drop there with 3 extremely important questions in that form for you to fill out and get your thoughts read aloud on Rift Happens to be immortalized on the internet forever. So,
Yes.
Drake, what was in the mailbag this week?
Yeah, so we'll start off with our first question, which was, what are you looking forward to most this season of CR? And, we got some good responses. I'm going to kind of list up for the sake of brevity. I'll keep it short. First one I see here is getting revenge on Eric for beating me 3 seasons ago. So I think this could be a lot of people's thing looking forward to most.
That could be anybody.
I think everyone can relate to that. Is losing to Eric. Well, not me, but
30 responses, 2 answers.
That's a big one. A lot of answers I see here kind of a similar vein is getting to hang out with the great people on the server and looking forward to just having a good time practicing. A lot of people say that. That's a big thing about Coach Rivals, get to make new friends. So huge shout out there. Look at here. Someone put harassing Drake Prime. That's not very cool. Moving on. Next question we have: which champion will be the highest pick ban rate for CR this season? And there is one answer that stood apart from the rest of them. That answer is Brand. Brand is our highest voted pick ban this year. Now,
I'm going to agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's a great pick.
It's pretty funny. You look at this, it's like there's 11 answers, and it's just 10 of the same answers, and someone voted Brand twice. So just super even across the field. Move on to the next one, and it's what champion you believe had the most deaths by the end of CR. And so, I'm not going to say the answer. What do you guys think the answer is? What's your opinion of the champion had the most deaths this season?
Oof. I think it's going to be Ari.
I'm going to say
Nautilus. I was going to say if Ari goes through, it's just going to be everybody trying to just
get her,
delete Ari. Justin,
even better would be if they showed up with the $500 skin. Like I'm waiting for some baller coach to show up with the immortalized legend or whatever.
And then go like 0-13. That's my dream. It shows up with the faker skin and then just goes like 0-13, rage quits. Oh, that's what I want to see happen.
Yeah, so I think Ari's a good one. My vote's going to be Nautilus, because I think like at Worlds 2 years ago, I think it was the Nautilus Death Fund that everybody was rooting for, and Nautilus is he's a great support to not terrible to blind pick, point and click CC on the Fed member of the enemy team, and I think it's a safe support pick. But once you're in, and so he tends to die quite a bit.
I mean, if Teemo gets through at least once,
that
will
be
the most dead.
I think everybody in this league has enough self-respect to not pick Teemo.
That's why I don't play anymore.
Well, our number one answer by a whole 2 votes is Jinx. Jinx was voted the highest predicted death total.
We'll report back.
So move on to our last question.
Yeah.
Or maybe the RRK fans, they just cheer for the cops.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. All Caitlyn fans.
So moving on to our last question, we kind of asked, open the floor. You have questions for us? Most of them are just asking for our predictions, which we're not. It's too early. All these teams are just so even. We just can't. It's an even playing field. It's just impossible for us to choose. Right, guys?
Exactly.
Oh yeah, so perfect.
Yep.
So. What I say here is, what's your favorite CR memory? Justin, let's start with you. When you think back to the history of your illustrious career playing in CR, what's the number one?
Number one is going to be when I locked in Sivir for a game, and the flavor of the month that season was Lethality Dark Harvest Sivir, where you could just basically blow up and one-shot the backline with 1 Q. But that particular game, I went attack speed crit Sivir. And I remember we had a Fiora just staring down our Nexus, and I had spawned just in time, and the Fiora came through, and I was able to hold off the onslaught there, and our team came back and won. I'll always remember that.
Some say that Decker guy is still pissed to this day. I remember that. That was a great game. That was when they just released Hullbreaker. Or Hullbreacher, whatever the item is called. They just released it. Yeah. We're like, man, what's the big deal? And next thing you know, we're four people on death timers. There's a Fiora who's like 13-4 coming down, but they weren't ready for the Neshama. Classic memory. Remember, you had a pretty sick mid lane of the game playing Seraphine. It's pretty crazy. Anyway, Ronnie. Come on, what's your go-to memory? Number one memory of Coach Rivals.
Okay, this is going to be controversial. Last year, Eric was on my team, right? I got blessed to have the winningest player in Coach Rivals history, right? Eric never loses, except this one game that we played last year against Fee's team when we lost. Bro, and that was against Justin. He was like their mole. He was on the other team. He knew how to read us like a book. And like genuinely everybody's won with Eric, you know, like guy never loses, but I've been on the only team that Eric has ever lost a game with. That's a memory.
And some say Eric is still pissed today.
He couldn't carry us, bro. He couldn't carry us in that game. That's all I have to say.
His shoulders were tired.
Yeah.
That's a classic. I would love to be in that room with Eric just to see him probably punching the wall.
Oh man, he was mad.
That's awesome.
100% after the game. I know, like someone in the chat was like, "Was that your first L?" And he was like, "Yes."
Ever.
Look, yeah. we ended up. That was the highlight of the night. I was subbing for that team that night, and I remember like I was like we were like over halfway through the game. I was like, "Listen, hey guys, like y'all are about to give Eric his first loss." And that's where like, oh, we got to do this. Like everybody's hyped up, and the
you just feel like the room just changed. Nuts. The game just like everybody's locked in for a second.
Wow.
CS,
everybody was hard sweating after that.
Perfect. Everyone's buying blue wards. Like it's over. It's like there's nothing going to happen in this game.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
All right. Coop?
I mean, other than that, what I was talking about earlier, just getting the empathy of the student player, I would say early on we used to force everybody into roles, which I thought I hated because I wanted to be a support, but then I had to play jungle, and then I found out I really liked jungle. Then the next season I was locked into top, and I was like, what? I just understood jungle, and now I'm playing top, and found out that I really liked playing that. And so I think that just being pushed into a different like area, and then finding out that it's like, oh, it's actually, you know, it's okay to like move off into something else. You end up enjoying it. I know a lot of coaches have done that too. It's like they start somewhere, and then they either get on a team where they have to fill a role, or they just kind of like bite the bullet and they take on another role, and they turn out they're like, nope, that's me. I'm a jungle main now, or I'm a mid main now. And it's part of that, just like, I don't know, that element is probably my favorite. Those couple seasons of just, you know, being pushed out of my support comfort zone, and kind of finding out the rest of the rift, and then yeah, so there you go. And then, you know, that led to playing Teemo, so there you
go. Oh, comes back.
He's a great champ.
Yeah, that's something. Well,
what about you, Jake?
Ooh, I'm gonna cheat. My favorite memory, I'm gonna say, is more or less an all-encompassing idea of Coach Rivals, and it's going back to where I first started. I guess it's 4 years ago. You know, didn't know anybody, knew the space. I got invited by Psychozy to come in because one of the players on the team apparently didn't know the commitment, and so he backed out. Started desperately looking for someone, and he reached out and was like, "Hey, you know, you help us out. The school, we need you to play." So I was like, "Heck yeah, dude! You need someone who sucks at League? I'm your guy." So I hop in. It was pretty nerve-wracking playing with, you know, I was on a team with Eric, Justin, Coach Macros, and Danielle, and it's pretty intimidating. You know, being on a team with Eric and Justin, who were just alpha chads. Justin over here just like basically had that nice sultry dad voice who was just like telling me what to do. Eric was getting mad because I wasn't doing anything right, And eventually, as we kind of got together and the games played, we kind of started working together. It just kind of turned this whole almost like I call it a bond, like a family thing. And by the end of the season, like just we were good friends at the end of it, or making jokes. I was looking forward to it, and it kind of went to the next season, right? And every season I've played, kind of had that same feeling of like there's this moment you join in, you don't know anybody really, maybe you know one or two people, but everyone's just awesome. Environment's great. You get to have fun with people, get to meet people, and that's what it's all about. And I mean, it's kind of a cheat answer, but that's definitely like my favorite memory from it. It's just getting to know all these people and be in the situation we are now.
There you go.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Drake, is that it for the viewer mailbag?
So we're running out of time, so I'm at this one question here that I think has to be answered, and it comes in. I'm going to assume from Eric29, and it says, "How is the commissioner so handsome?" And I'm going to take this time to answer this. The answer is I shower twice a day. No. It's 2 showers a day. Only wash my hair once. Very important. But I can wash it once, condition the other one, and then pretty nifty. So you keep your hair moisturized that way. Brush my teeth twice a day, a big thing, and then it's after that it's just a God-given looks. That's all I can say. And follow up to that is it told to name my firstborn Primetime or Drake? And I think either one works. I think naming a kid Primetime is more of a middle name.
I think that's right.
So I think like Drake Primetime Welch. I think it's a good one, and so I think if you did some finagling, you can fit both in if you try hard enough with your kid. But either one works. But no, that's our questions for this week.
There you
go. Awesome. Those are great, man. I really don't think we could top that. That's the best way to really end this episode as we're going into tossing it over to the casters who are going to start taking over tonight, introduce the matchups that are going to be going on tonight. So we should have 2 matches streamed tonight. That should be the schedule for every Thursday. You get a little bit of Champions action, a little bit of Legends action, and then keep your eyes peeled on the Discord for any B streams that may be coming up. And keep an eye on the Discord for viewer questions for next week. So for all of my fellow panelists here, for Ronnie, for Drake, for Coop, we thank you so much for tuning in and listening to us while you're getting geared up and ready to watch some awesome action tonight. I'm Justin. Y'all have a great night, and we'll see you next week.